Hey, I didn't choose to grow this.
Pressing numpad and nothing's happening.
Why are you playing it?
Fucking broke me legs, mate. Fucking
Questions and accept it. Midichlorians, motherfucker.
I told you.
Glorious.
No, it wasn't glorious.
Hello there everyone and welcome to Live Gaming Gathering, where we gather to talk about video games, life and anything we find interesting in our daily lives. For our regular listeners, welcome back, and to our new listeners, grab a drink, relax, and hopefully you'll enjoy our ramblings. Please leave a like if you enjoyed it, and leave a dislike if you didn't. Let us know in the comments and be involved in the conversation. And today I'm being joined by Adrian.
Wait, we have regular listeners?
God damn you, yes we do!
Oh, sorry, okay. Hello, everyone.
God damn you!
Ladies and gentlemen, you have just witnessed a genuine moment of shock and awe.
I was like, what the fuck we do? America, explain.
Anyway, that's Adrian, Ray,
Hello.
and Gian.
Hello.
And sorry in advance if I sound weird sometimes, because my throat is killing me, sore throat. And as Adrian would say, I probably suck too much dick, but that's okay.
Wow, self-burn, bro. Jesus Christ.
Wow, man, that was
Oof,
harsh.
that was deep.
That's not family friendly, that's for sure.
Yes.
Demonetized.
Demonetization, everyone.
I think we need to restart that, because we're not having that shit.
Or I can cut in the edit, which I won't probably.
True.
No. Do the bare
Professionalism
minimum.
at its
That's how you
best.
get on in life, my friend.
We're thriving, boys, we're thriving. And today we're basically gonna talk about video game grinding. Do you love grind, guys? Because I do love me some grind.
All my life.
Yes,
Been
yes,
grinding all my
yay.
life.
The reason to play video games. The only reason.
No, it's not.
I mean,
See, this is different
Kill
mindsets.
me.
I feel because you're
Kill me.
Asian and Chinese, all you do is grind in video games. It's like your parents expect you to like grind so that you can get into med school.
the reason I came up with this topic is because of the latest Battlefield news. Oh, what a surprise! We're going back on Battlefield. Oh my god. Calling me
Yay.
surprised, right? I'm talking about Battlefield. Okay, for anyone that doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's basically, back in the day, you had to do like weekly challenges to unlock guns, and if you missed out, you can unlock them after the season ends, so like a month or weeks later, and you can unlock them properly just by company coin, whatever that you get by playing. And for this time around, in the new next updates, they included the new future guns. They will be included in the tier system. You basically have to play, get XP, and you get the weapons at that specific tier. Basically, like the way Call of Duty works with the battle
I was
pass.
gonna say, isn't that just Call of Duty?
It's literally the Call of Duty way. Is you put the guns in the tier system and you just play and you unlock them.
Okay.
It works in Call of Duty, and it works in Call of Duty because it's the first time Activision is not being that greedy. Not like
Correct.
with the loot boxes and everything. That's why it works in Call of Duty. It's not a perfect system, don't get me wrong, but it's a start. But in Battlefield, we had assignments before. You just basically just do assignments and unlock the gun at your own pace. And in Call of Duty, you can buy tiers that you can unlock and basically pay money to unlock the guns earlier. And
Bro, do you remember Ghost Recon Breakpoint where they had that thing? What was it called? Time passes, time skippers, or some shit like that, where you'd pay money to like miss out on playing the game so that you can get to a certain point in the game. Anyone knows what I'm talking about?
yes, I remember reading about some sort of Microsoft. But was it only Breakpoint, or was it like every Ubisoft game at this point?
No. It was just Breakpoint. There was a big controversy about it, and no one understood why would you pay money to buy the game to then pay more money to not play the game that you already bought. It just it didn't make sense.
I have more money than I know what to do with.
Like, what-
I guess that's it.
So yeah, I think they took that out now. The Breakpoint was a fucking catastrophe anyway, the way it came out, because it was so much worse than the previous one and all the fucking loot boxes and everything. But essentially in that game, if you wanted to like skip the grinding, you just paid money, which I thought derives from the it kind of takes away from the pleasure that you have in playing the game. Like, why would you buy?
Here's
the game?
$120. Just complete the game as soon as I buy it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me.
But the reason I hate the way they're gonna do it in Battlefield It's not because it's the same way as Call of Duty. It's because we had a bad system back in place back in the day. And God forbid they put like some sort of OP weapon at the last tier, so you basically can pay up money up front, get the weapon sooner than everyone else. And I heard it's really grindy to get, well, how many tiers? That's 40 tiers, I think, each season Battlefield. 40 tiers, that takes ages. Ages.
It's almost like it closely rings with a pay to
what's
win.
that called? Oh yes, correct.
Yeah, I've never heard of those before though, but that's crazy.
Can you imagine, like in the final tier of Battlefield, it's just the 725 from Call of Duty before the patches, like right at the beginning of the game where it just shredded everything in front of it. That's the final weapon, unpatched 725, lads. Congratulations, you've done it.
Yeah, okay, I don't want to complain about it too much, but I just disagree with the system entirely just because there's room for abuse, and I don't like that. Just because it works in COD is because we had wars in COD, so this is the first time it was somewhat consumer friendly. It's not perfect, but it's somewhat consumer friendly. While I know the Battlefield had the best system in place back in the day, it was more reasonable because you could always do it on your own pace. And if you missed out on, let's say you bought Battlefield 5 just a couple of weeks ago and you start to play, and you just play for a couple of hours, and you missed out. You can't unlock the guns until season ends, so that's about 2-3 months after this gun is released or something, and you can't just unlock it. You have to wait, which is quite stupid unless you pay up.
God damn, son.
But yeah, that's how I came up with this conversation about topic for this podcast about grinding. So I just want to ask you guys, what's the game that you, I don't even know how he even asked this question. What's your game that you grind most and why? Are you grinded before?
You guys can go first. I've got mine, but it will take a little bit because I'm very passionate about it, so feel free.
I used to just grind the hell out of the old JRPGs. That was pretty much my definition of the grind, because you'd get better characters out of it and you just walk right through final bosses and whatever the hell you wanted. I liked that reward out of hours on end of Final Fantasy grinding. Battlefield 4's their assignments and stuff, that was actually all right. Some of them were a little bit ludicrous, but achievable nonetheless. I felt that was pretty good, but also circumvented by a kind of pay-to-win system nobody paid attention to either. Other than that, really, the games that I always ground the hell out of was my first-person shooters and my JRPGs. That's pretty much it. I never really got into MOBAs or any of that.
Wait until Jan. So Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter 2, Monster Hunter 3, Monster Hunter 4.
Surprisingly, I never played those games. My first Monster Hunter game is the Monster Hunter World on PS4.
Yeah, do you know that's his first ever Monster Hunter? He just keeps playing it over and over again. Okay, Adrian, what's your game? Just I don't know how deeply you want to go with that.
Well, off the top of my head, I don't know. I think Pokemon is the original childhood kind of
yes,
childhood one that everyone has. When you talk about grinding, you talk about not being able to do a gym, and then you have to kind of go back out and grind your level up to 15 or 20. Does anyone remember?
Oh hell yes.
Brock in the Fire Red remakes and stuff, where and if you started off with Charmander, which most people did, I know I did. Fire starters were my favorites. You were screwed by the time you got to Brock.
Yeah.
So you had to grind. How are you going to defeat that Onyx?
You also had to be resourceful and find another type that could potentially be weak against them, because I think you could catch Oddish or something around in the area, but they were so weak you had to grind the snot out of them to get them up to level in order to be able to even be worthwhile.
Exactly, they were level 3 or something. I think,
and with a stupid low
15.
defense stat too.
Yes, correct. So I think originally those were the games that I probably grinded on the most. More recently, the thing is that there's grind in almost every video game now, because even the sports games, they have ultimate teams and stuff where you have to grind. NBA 2K has my team. I'd say probably Witcher is my most recent grind, just because I love that game so much and I wanted to have all of the armor sets, and you need to go and scavenge for the diagrams to build the armor sets, and then you need money to actually upgrade the armor sets, but also you need materials. So it's a very big grind to get to like a Grandmaster armor set in The Witcher, and I think I had like 4 of them. I had like the Ursurine, the Feline, the Wolf, and I can't remember which one was the last one. But yeah, so that's my most recent grind. Other than that, I don't really grind in that much anymore because I'm not really a big online kind of player in sports games. I always play the career modes. I guess the career mode in NBA 2K, you kind of have to grind your overall up in that game mode.
And I still remember you told us that you bought I don't know what they're called. Basically,
yes,
microtransactions.
VC. I bought VC. That's the only thing I have ever bought that relates to grinding was VC in NBA 2K. I think it was 18 back when it came out because it was so ridiculously hard to like grind up your VC that you needed to almost give yourself like that kick. So I think I bought like £10 worth or something.
I just wanted to kind of point something out real quick. Now that we were talking about Pokemon, if anybody kind of like make that mental association with like how hard it is to start the game off based off the color of the starter, like Bulbasaur green, super easy in the beginning, blue, Squirtle, and kind of all right, and good against some of the bosses, and Charmander, get your butt handed to you by the first couple of gyms.
Oh yeah, I never realized that.
Anybody ever like? I just had that moment right now. Like, wait a minute. Like, yeah. Now that I think about it, it was super easy to start with Bulbasaur. It was all right to start with Squirtle, and it was a pain in the ass to start with Charmander. But later on,
but most people chose Charmander because I think that's where all the masochist Dark Soul players came from. It's probably like they were childhood Pokemon fans. They all started with Charmander.
Childhood Pokemon Charmander starters, yeah.
Exactly, and now they just love to die. They just love to die. Speaking of, because it reminded me, another recent grind is Jedi Fallen Order. I literally 100%ed every section of that game because I love the combat so much. I love the roaming, and it was just an overall amazing game. And I don't often find the need to 100% games, hardly ever actually anymore, unless they like really really impress me, like The Witcher, Fallen Order, Red Dead, another one. But I think that's more grinding for pleasure rather than grinding for like a reward.
So yeah, that's my next question. Do you actually enjoy the grind? Like any modern games that you actually enjoy the grind? Is it what modern games do you think have good grind that's actually fun? Because like you said, a lot of games have grind right now, and I have no time to play all those games and grind for everything. I'm
pretty sure that's a really subjective answer because it all depends upon how you view the reward versus what you've got to do to get it.
What I think.
Yeah.
And it's going to vary from person to person. Like for some years, spending 30, 40, 50 hours on a save in Skyrim is not going to be worth it to one person, but to somebody like me, that's worth it. You get good stuff out of it. Same thing with any first-person shooter game or anything. And I think that's one really strange reason impossible as to why pay-to-win stuff pops up in order to cater to those people who just don't think that the grind is worth the reward, so just give me the reward because I don't want to do it, which, I don't know, I guess I could kind of understand.
But they still want to play the game at the same time.
Yeah. It's all subjective in how everything is used and how everything is viewed. So, I mean, you can't just, like, blanket statement that.
Fair enough. And do you care... Okay, are you a fan of grinding when it comes to unlocking equipment or cosmetics, for example?
Yes and no. Sometimes, I mean, like I said, I wanted to unlock like a lot of the armor sets and stuff in The Witcher, but and a lot of them were like for cosmetic purposes. Because realistically, all you need to do is grind up one armor set, and because I think there's like 5 tiers, so you start off as like a master armor set. The final one's Grandmaster. So realistically, you only need to grind up one throughout the game, but I just wanted to see how they all looked at the end, and they all, like I said, there was also a lot of pleasure derived from grinding in The Witcher and hunting all those armor sets and hunting all the necessary, how do I put this? The money and the items that are required to level up the armor set. So Yeah, I mean, I do enjoy grinding for cosmetics and stuff. It just depends on the game, really.
Well, for example, me and Adrian usually play first-person shooters together.
Yes, we do. You grinded to platinum. Just say it, bro. I know you want to say
Okay,
it.
hey,
I know. There you go.
Hey,
Here we
okay,
go.
listen,
Okay.
listen. I
Yeah.
grinded my ass for the
Yep.
platinum skins for my
There we
rifles
go.
in Call of Duty. I did that. I did that. I have no shame in that. But just because I enjoy that type of grind, there's some sort of reward. In Battlefield, for example, I just can't grind my ass just to get like something at the end. Like, sure, maybe a cosmetic, something like that. The reason sometimes the grind can be fun, but Battlefield does grind badly. Call of Duty does it more fun, because even though you're grinding, you're still having fun by playing the game. And it can be saying the same Battlefield, but there's certain games that do grinding so much better than others. And
I think that's why they changed their system in Battlefield.
Yeah, for example, Division 2, I enjoy everything about the Division. Well, people might hate it or something like that. I personally love the Division just because even though you're grinding, but you're getting something anyway. You're getting something in the moment. Even though you did like a small mission, something like that, you still get something. It's like it was worth your time anyway. Maybe it's a smaller reward, but you still got something that it's worth something to keep. While other games, you might be grinding, right? And you get something reward, but that reward is probably crap. You don't want that. You want maybe something else in the different tier or something like that. And because there's so many games that require you to spend so much hours just grinding for something else, I just don't find it fun anymore. Just because we're focusing more on actually getting the reward itself than actually playing the game.
One way you can look at it is it's like a lot of mobile games have next day rewards where like you have to log in the next day every day to claim the reward, right?
That's mostly mobile though.
Yeah, but like at the beginning, that's cool and stuff. But it eventually becomes a chore, and like I think that's what you don't want. You don't want it to be like, oh well, I have to do this now, because the I just have to. Otherwise, I'll feel bad.
Or I'll miss the reward.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what you don't want. And I think with how much grind there is in video games nowadays, like this is a weird example, but I'll give it anyway. So, who knows about the WWE 2K series? Yeah.
I heard they're really bad games, but whatever.
Well, anyone know about the wrestling games? You had SmackDown versus Raw, and then you had WWE 2K 15, 16, whatever, 14, 17, etc. So
Yeah, I know they exist.
Back in the day, you can create your own wrestler in that game, and you'd have every cosmetic item available to you from the start. You could make your character look exactly how you wanted him to look at the beginning of the game. Right, and this carried on, I think, up until around 2K17, where they introduced. Guess what they introduced?
What?
Loot boxes.
Oh,
Where
what?
they introduced.
There's loot box on SmackDown.
Yeah, they introduced loot boxes. So now, whereas before you had everything unlocked from the beginning, and you could really make your character look how you wanted them to look. Now you had like generic items at the start of the game, and then as you you could either pay to get more loot boxes, like they weren't called, I don't know what they were, or you could play through the career mode, which was a big grind in itself, and then you had a randomized chance of unlocking any item. So you couldn't even choose the item that you wanted. You had to like keep grinding and grinding loot boxes. Excuse me, until you finally got what you wanted because it was randomized. And they've kept that system.
I remember that.
Yeah, and they've kept
I used to play the Nintendo 64 ones, like they're all the way up to
No
and like
Mercy.
yeah, and the original ones. What was it? The one was WrestleMania, and the other one was I can't remember what the other one was, but it's like Raw or something like that.
SmackDown. That's a big one. Here Comes the Pain was one of my favorites.
I want to say so. I remember two of them specifically because one was pretty much just a reskin of the other. They both played identical, like the whole 9 yards. And I remember playing the snot out of both of those games. Like those were the games you could just like replace the whole entire roster with like custom created characters.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think I specifically remember like one time I tried trying it on like PS3 or one of the newer ones or something like that. And it was like, what the hell? You can't even do anything anymore. Okay, I'm done.
Because it's all locked behind a paywall. and it
And that's
becomes a
not that.
chore.
Yeah, that I agree. It all depends upon like what type of game it is and where it's come from and the expectations you go in with it. Because now that I come to think of it, I do specifically remember that moment where I was just like, ugh.
And it's almost a bit sad because I used to enjoy those games when I was younger and stuff, and like I used to enjoy the creative aspect of it, how you can create your own character and your own entrance and everything, and
Yup.
even your own arena, all of that stuff. That was my favorite bit. It wasn't so much the wrestling or the gameplay; it was like the creative center. And they've taken all that away, and now I haven't bought a WWE game in bloody years because of it. So that's one way to lose customers, I guess. 2K.
Although we can already segue, which is in a good way. How you feel about microtransactions being in that grind system? What kind of microtransactions you would accept for you in a grindy game, or whatever that may be? I mean, it's a really open question with multiple answers for any game. But what kind of microtransactions for you personally you think are fair and just for you as a player? That you
Multiplayer games, I don't agree with any pay-to-win system where you can just drop money and have the new fancy gear and stuff like that. Now, single-player games, that's a loaded and loose question in of itself because it all depends upon how I view the reward versus the grind. Shadow of Mordor, they would do, XP boosters or stuff like that for the purely single player part of it. That's not too bad because it didn't give you a ridiculous boost out of it. So something like that I would find semi-accessible or acceptable. And even in Battlefield, we had you could buy battle packs and you'd get XP boosters out the yin yang. I still have hundreds upon hundreds of XP boosts that I've never used.
Can I stop you for a moment? Because I just want to make a quick note. Because some people say that back in the day, you could buy those shortcut kits to unlock all the guns and everything. And people say that could be pay to win. That's not pay to win, mainly because it's not locked behind. Those guns are not locked behind the paywall anyway, and you can unlock them anytime at your own pace. You can unlock it in a day. If you're really determined, you can unlock all those guns in a day by just playing the game and doing those
just banging out the assignments. Yeah, yes. But I think the reason why those were presented was for some people who couldn't get some of those assignments done because there were some of those assignments that relied so heavily on teamwork. They were really hard in order to pull off unless you were actually working with somebody. Like, think about just how much effort you have to go through just to get all of the dog tags and everything, just to get the bow.
Well, the bow
you guys remember that?
Yeah, the bow was a bit special, yeah. But
even still, I mean, again, reward versus work. The work was worth the reward because you got this awesome bitchin' bow, and if you knew how to use it, I mean, you could be a freaking unstoppable killing machine. But at the same time, there are some people who probably would have sat there and been like, well, I'd have paid $3 to just get that.
Yeah, the reason I don't think those shortcuts are pay to win is because you were able to unlock those guns on your own pace with no time limit.
And it's not like any of them were ridiculously OP either.
Yeah. But I'm okay with BF4, but this is why I'm not okay with Battlefield 5, for example, or Call of Duty, let's say. Whatever. I'm not a fan of this system is because there's a time limit. There's like a literal physical time limit that you either have to grind your ass to unlock that gun, or wait for months until you can unlock that gun just normally. This is why I'm not a fan of that. Or you can just pay points or whatever, pay money, get some tiers extra, and unlock the gun early. This is why I think it's somewhat close to pay to win, even though it's not, but it's close. Just because there's a time
flirting
limit.
with it.
Yeah, there's a time limit. While there was no time limit in other previous games.
No, you could buy BF4 to this day and still jump in fresh and redo all the assignments. It's not like they're timed. But, that's arguing a 7-year-old game versus a brand new one. But at the same time, I do remember the month that I had at the beginning of the year or at the end of last year in order to play BFE for a while. And I do remember that being like a real big critique of mine. That's just like, well, so because I got the game now, anything that I might miss in, I don't know, the next 2-3 months that I'm not playing, there's a potential I'm never going to be able to get it again on my own without paying. That is no.
Yeah, the time limits are a bit whack. I'll be honest with you. If anything, the time limits, I can totally see why people would be pissed off about the time limits on these things.
But here's the thing, Fortnite gets away with it, and nobody says anything, but Fortnite is a whole different monster in of itself, too.
Fortnite is a bit different just because those cosmetics with... Well, okay, season, right? Season rewards are unique, and they're not being sold in the store, so you can't get them anymore. Unless somehow Epic Games brings them back somehow to Fortnite. But I think that's the appeal. So you buy a season, right? And you unlock
You
it.
either get them or you don't get them.
Yeah, you just keep them forever. It's for you uniquely. I think which is fine, I guess. I think it's fine because it's it's cosmetics, right? It's doesn't really influence the game or anything.
Yeah, it's not like they're locking a gun you can pick up behind a paywall. Like you go to someplace on the map and go to pick a gun up, and it's like, nope, you missed that season reward, can't pick it up.
This is why I'm okay with Fortnite being unique rewards to each season, just because it's like it shows player dedication, I guess. And you can show off that like a year later or two years later, like, oh, how do you got the skin? Oh, I did that. They're like, oh, cool. So that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the time limits when it comes to like equipment, like guns behind tiers. Like, do you have to grind your ass off just to unlock them, which I'm not a fan of. Give me assignments and let me unlock the guns or the vehicle or whatever that reward I'm seeking for.
Can I just give you the ability to go back and play the chapter again?
Yeah, go on.
This one's for the Asian man in the room. What is Monster Hunter like? Like, what is their system? Or because they have updates and stuff, regular updates. I know because they had a Witcher one. So please explain that one to me.
Basically, on Monster Hunter, grinding is playing the game itself. There's no such thing like grinding on Monster Hunter. Because the logic of the game, basically, you just kill the monster over and over again with the same monster, depending on the set that you want to collect.
And what do you get rewarded? Like armor from the monster? Like
you get like materials to craft your armor and weapons that you like. So basically, there's certain monsters. There's some monster that give you like a weapon straight away, but normally the other monster they just give you materials to craft the weapons that you need, and that's why you just kill it over and over again, and that's the game itself. So there's not much to talk about grinding except to collect the armor or the weapons that you want. And and with like the Witcher's DLC or whatever, basically it gives you like a new monster to hand. So you kill it, you get materials, then you craft the set that you need. I mean, from the event.
So you basically grind for materials and the pieces, like in any single player game at this point, I guess, just to craft some sort of specific armor, right? It's kind of the same.
You collect the materials, like you collect the materials, you go to the smith, and then you make the weapon or whatever you want there.
And how many like choices are there to pick from? Because a lot of games
basically one monster you get like many choices. There's like a lower rank, high rank, and master rank. So depending on the monster where you hunt. Like if you hunt a low rank monster, you craft a low rank monster weapon. Like how do I explain this? Like each monster has their own set of equipments.
Yeah, I guess.
So if you hunt that monster, if you want the set from the monster, so you have to hunt it. So basically,
makes sense.
That's the game itself, hunting monsters.
Okay.
Well,
is there any story to it?
Oh, we mentioned that. Yeah, we talked about it for a little bit.
Oh my god, the story. Basically, the story is... I don't really care about the story for me. It's like you playing a game, like playing Fortnite. You don't really care about the story.
Yeah, last time he mentioned in the podcast, it was a really garbage story. Apparently,
people like it, but I just find it really boring. Basically, it's like an exploit. Like they found a new island or new world. They just go there and exploit. They found monster there, and that's the story.
It's like Jurassic Park, bro.
Yes, basically, yeah, that's like Jurassic Park.
Question: is there any microtransactions in the game?
Yes, you can buy like emojis. That's it. and skins.
Emojis.
Not how do you call that? Like, not emojis, like
Emotes, I guess.
yeah, emotes, whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like you just do like a pose. You can also buy some like tattoos for your character.
But there's no like weapons or equipment or anything. It's just
No.
literally just
There's
visual
nothing
stuff,
like
basically.
weapons.
Okay.
No, just like, and you can buy some like unique things for the handler that you cannot unlock by playing the game. But the handler is like, it's an NPC. You just get the quest from that person, and that's it. I don't even know why they do that. Like you actually have to pay to get a different skill for an NPC just so you can look at to get. It's an NPC to get quests. That's it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Money
Also-
well spent.
Yeah, pretty much. Speaking of, I do want to mention, because I think, was it Ray mentioned me? He mentioned about, or was it Gian? I can't remember. About people buying accounts to get the gear.
Oh yeah, World of Warcraft account sells. Yeah, that is a thing.
Oh,
That's even on like NBA and stuff. People sell their like 99 overall players.
So
To,
they literally sell their accounts just to get those players.
You can go on eBay and find that shit.
Yeah, literally, like, and like you have my team. My team's like the ultimate team of like NBA. People would sell their my team accounts with like all like pink diamonds or like diamond players and stuff, and then you can go on eBay and there will be like 200, 300 pounds, and yeah, that's a thing. That's a fucking big ass grind skip right there.
I just don't really understand why people would do that, but whatever. I guess each to their own. But here's the thing. I'm probably okay with that, right? In games like World of Warcraft, but just because I know it's gonna be alive, like after a certain amount of time. But buying like 99 players, like say in your typical sports game, and there's another sports game in next year on a couple of months, I don't see the reason spending money or grind your ass off for stuff like that when you know.
Because I want to own it multiplayer now.
Yeah, essentially, yes.
Yeah, all that stuff is gonna be pointless in a year because the new game, and you have to play the new game and grind again.
I don't know. It's a flex. I think it's a flex. Maybe it's a flex. Maybe it's like to like show you. Yeah, well, you come up against people online and you beat. Let's be honest, okay? The better players you have in these games, the better the player it makes you, right? The more likely you are to win. So maybe people, it's just their way of paying to win, essentially.
Fair enough. I just really get the mentality. But yeah, that's my problem with grindy games in general, or like with every game has some sort of grind system. Grind is good as long as it's fun grind. But like the for example, Call of Duty, I'm okay with grinding here just because I know I'm not gonna buy the next COD. I don't care about Black Ops 5 or whatever that. I just don't care. I just can't be asked to grind for games that I know there's gonna be another game soon coming out. Like, what's the point grinding if everything is gonna be pointless anyway? So
Kind of like I've made my first mow through it. I've got what I got on that mow through. Maybe I'll mow through it a second time. But if I don't, oh well. And that's sad.
Yeah, it is kind of sad just because we focus more, like I said before, like we focus more on unlocking stuff than actual playing the game.
That's true.
Yeah, which is a rare thing these days because all the games, like, they have to keep the player somehow active. It's about retention.
You have to keep them engaged.
Yeah, you have to keep them engaged. Live
You
service.
have to keep them wanting to come back. Yes, yes, that's true. Do you remember back in the good old days where they just released a fucking game and released DLC and that was it?
Yeah.
It was nice and easy. I remember playing Battlefield 4 with you guys. The memories there.
Oh. Back in my day, we had cartridges, and there was no patches for that shit. You got it from GameStop or Walmart or anywhere you could, popped it in that NES, and you played it, damn it! And if it was broken, you loved it.
This is correct.
Like that's me growing up. Like shit, I remember members playing some really bad grindy games on the old NES and the old Super Nintendo, and there was no paying to bypass that. There was no waiting for a patch to fix that. So you kids got it good these days. I'll shake my cane harder.
Although I want to ask, probably, there's a bit of like fantasy here. Pick a game, right? And what kind of thing you would love to grind in a video game, and how it would showcase to other players or something. I don't know. It's up to you. Like, what kind of grind you would love to experience yourself? Like
What? Come again?
what kind of grind you love to experience in the future? And some game comes out, right, and it has the most perfect grind you ever had in your life. What kind of grind you would love to see that? Like I don't know how to phrase this question. What's your perfect grind, basically?
Mia Khalifa grind? No.
Sure, let's go with that.
No.
Loaded question is loaded.
Yeah, question is really loaded.
Yeah.
It's really
You didn't describe what kind of grinding is going to be going on.
Yeah, true. Okay, let's say FIFA, right? For you,
Yes.
Adrian. What's the perfect grind for you be? What kind of rewards? What the kind of system you would love to have to make your grind more fun and interesting and engaging? It's a really loaded question, I know.
With FIFA, no, it's difficult because, like I said, I'm not really a big online player. I don't play Ultimate Team. What would get me into Ultimate Team is, for example, I don't know if they maybe added this or not because I haven't really played it. I always just play career mode. But like a reward system. Do you know what I mean? So like you have offline challenges.
Yeah.
And then depending on how well, if you can like complete those challenges. So say, for example, you have live challenges, right? So Champions League quarterfinal, Man City versus, I don't know, Inter Milan, okay? And then Man City win. So your challenge would be to score 3 goals with Man City and win the game against Inter Milan on like legendary difficulty or whatever. And then if you do that, you unlock like a special player, like, I don't know, team of the week, Lukaku or Ashley Young or something. I don't know why I said Ashley Young, but yeah, like a team of the week player. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And that would save people having to. But the problem with that is that EA would lose money because people want to buy packs to unlock those players. So it's not a realistic expectations, and I don't think it will ever happen. But yeah, that's. I guess that would be nice if there was some sort of reward system in the game, some sort of challenge and reward system.
Yeah. Gian, pick a game that you love to grind, and what kind of grind you love to see in that game.
Monster Hunter already got all the grind that I want to see there.
I mean, fair enough. That's a fair answer.
Just make another one, damn it.
That's a fair answer. What about League of Legends? Is there some sort of specific grinding you would love to see in that game? Or Dota?
Pokemon?
Pokemon.
Now. Pokemon. Oh my god. Don't start with Pokemon.
No. Start, please. Proceed.
God. I'm one of the pickiest person on Pokemon. Like,
Explain.
I don't. Oh,
Do it.
God. I have to explain. Do you know if you know how EV training on Pokemon and egg breeding?
Yes.
Basically,
I'm aware of these mechanics.
I want to run every Pokemon with that mechanic to test them and to build my own team from that. It's gonna take long though. Oh, you guys don't know? I spent like on Pokemon. What's the Pokemon that we played before? Was it like Pokemon X?
Y? Yeah, X and
Y.
Y, and then Omega
I
Ruby
spent like
after
600
Sapphire.
hours there just running X. That's very, very boring.
Oh, and like shiny hunting and stuff too.
Not shiny and handy, like properly, like the IV grinding.
So if you could fit, if there was any way for you to, oh yeah, I remember you had those stupid mini games, didn't you, to like grind up?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I remember. If
But
there
now
was
they fix it on the last Pokemon. They actually fix it.
How did they
put
do it?
You can actually buy like a candy there and mint. It's like an item. Rare candies.
Yeah.
It's actually that type. You're not Bio Tower in Pokemon like
Yes.
the BB Bio Points.
Yes.
Now you can collect those points and actually buy a candy fit to your Pokemon. You get the IV. So you have to spend more time on battling than running around to collecting the egg.
Oh, so it makes sense. So
Yes.
clearly Game Freak looked at what
They
people
actually
wanted more.
did it. I'm
and-
surprised.
Yeah, that's good of them. There you go, guys. Game Freak is fucking amazing. Go with Game Freak.
And I'm just here. I never played a Pokemon game, so I had no idea what's going on.
How have you never? You are a sad, sad
uncultured
guy.
Man.
swine.
Waste man.
Yeah, I never
What
played
have you been
Pokemon.
doing with your life?
Hey, I never even owned a Nintendo product or game.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. Well, speaking of companies that took and listened to old faithful iterations, I'm sincerely hoping that the Final Fantasy VII Remake sticks close to its original grind system for like the materia and leveling up and stuff like that. I'm really hoping they're improving on what was it? 15 was the last one? Because that wasn't bad, but everything felt so small as far as the game world went. So I haven't really like gone back and replayed it as many times as like say right now I'm replaying Final Fantasy VII again for like the 30th time my whole life.
I see you're having trouble with Sephiroth. Would you like to skip this section for only $29.99?
I am sincerely hoping they do not pull that.
Could you
I'm
imagine?
gonna
Buy all of
see
the
that on
master materia,
HD now.
$35. But I really hope they don't go that route. But I have some shaken faith in that game to begin with, just because I have to wait an extra year to get it on computer. I'll stand on my soapbox for a split second right now and just be like, damn it, Square, just sell your freaking game, okay? Nobody wants to buy a new console. It's too close. Sony and Xbox already announced their new ones. Just knock it off. Put the damn thing out on PC. I'll get off my soapbox now.
I wonder what they're going to do with Watch Dogs Legion. I'm curious. Are they probably going to have like, if you pay like £10, then you can unlock the granny and playable as this.
No,
I wonder.
No. You pay money to unlock freedom of movement.
What do you mean? Oh my god!
No, you
Oh
missed
my
the
God.
joke completely. Because we live in the EU, so you lose the freedom of movement, so you have to pay up to travel to somewhere else.
It's post-Brexit anyway. Who cares?
Although, I am curious how Legion is gonna work, though. What kind of microtransactions they have.
I'm telling you, because you essentially don't have one single main character in that game. You just play as like all these kind of random NPC characters that you recruit, and like in an ideal world, they will have their backstories and everything. Most likely, what will happen is that you will have to pay money, and then you'll get like special characters that you can play as.
Yeah.
I bet you that's going to be the case. Like
Yeah.
you can tell.
If
You can
Yuffie
tell.
and Vincent are behind a paywall in Final Fantasy VII, I'm gonna be pissed.
Well, I know my type of. I don't know. I don't really care what kind of game it is, because I usually play multiplayer games that are quite competitive. When I say competitive, any multiplayer game that two teams competing is competitive in my eyes. So that type of competitive. I don't know. It would be really interesting and weird if there's some sort of grind that rewards you with some social status or something. Like, I don't know, you reach this X level, and the company and the game studio sends you like a reward or something like that. You hang
They
it somewhere
do that in NBA. No.
They do that?
Thing in NBA 2K, yeah, because there's like, you know how you have the park, right? The park is where you like, it's like an online hub now.
Yes.
It's like a little mini open world online hub thing. So if you reach like legend status or something, they shout you out in like their own because you've got NBA 2K TV, which is kind of like their own little program where they give you like stuff about updates about the game, etc. They shout you out in that, and then you come in with a chance to win like this limited edition pair of like Kobe's that are only available through doing that challenge. I think there's like 20 of them made or something, and you only get them by becoming like a legend on the park, and then hopefully they put you into like a prize draw or something, and then at the end maybe you come out with one. So they actually do that in NBA 2K.
Okay. Because my type of grind usually is fun if I can showcase at the end. I don't really care about
Essentially, you're just a show off.
Yeah, pretty much. I actually don't really care about. Like,
You just want to flex on people.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't want like cosmetics or something like that. Like, oh, your character looks like that, or I mean, it's fine, but I want something more, like something in the heart that tells you, yeah, this guy grinding his ass off for this. Respect this man. Respect him. I don't know. I want something that you can showcase something to other players, wherever that may be. I don't care if the company, that the studio itself send you a physical thing, something to showcase in your room. I don't care. Like,
Man just wants to flex.
yes, my type of grind is usually that, like just literally flexing on people. Like, respect this man. But of course, not
I
being a
want to be
douchebag
proud
about it.
too, damn it.
That's
So-
why you grinded all the way to platinum and fucking.
Hey, listen, that platinum skin looks great on my assault rifles. Just saying.
The only yes, it's just so that when people watch the kill feed, they just see you and oh, he's got platinum. Oh my god.
Yeah,
And
pretty
then you
much.
see a guy with like some fucking platinum riot shield, and then you just get outflexed completely.
Also, as you mentioned about the copies and whatever, I think most games could benefit from. Was it those copies you said? They always look the same, right?
What do you mean?
Well, the reward itself is like always looks the same, right? It doesn't have variations or something like that.
No.
Okay, so I think majority grindy games would benefit from multiple choices at the end, because you will grind for that. But I think why people don't want to grind for it sometimes is not because it's hard, but because it doesn't have variation. It doesn't let you express yourself in some different way.
So essentially, you want a customizable, real life reward.
No, well, not maybe real life, but like let's say you're grinding for something in a video game, right? And you get like a cosmetic that like saying this guy grinding his ass off for something. It would be great if that whatever that reward is can be somehow like on some level, customized on some level. Like, oh, you can change the color, you can change the look a little bit, but you know it's that thing. But it can.
Is there a game that's done that? I'm pretty sure there's a game that's done something very similar to that.
Probably
There must be.
Probably is. I know all the ideas we're talking about are not original. I know some game or developers did that somewhere, and we just don't know about it. But I kind of like that there's like you can grind for something, right? You get that specific reward to showcase to others, but you can also customize it just to make it somewhat unique to you, to yourself, whatever that may be. So I think that's one of the best rewards when it comes to grinding. But that's me personally.
No, that's fair enough. That would be nice. Imagine if you get like a custom skin. So basically, you grind in Call of Duty, and then like at the end, you have the option of creating your own skin for your guns. Like, wouldn't that be sick? And you
That
could,
would
like,
be amazing.
You could put your face on it. It would just have like Jean's face just on the fucking gun, and then everyone that sees in the kill feed just sees Jean just mowing you down.
Yeah, I would love that. Something like, yeah, if you could control to avoid any bad apples, because otherwise that thing is gonna stay forever there. But like something in the game that lets you customize your reward in some shape or form, just to let you like know, like you can make it your own, unique to you.
Yes.
I mean, sure, you will see some repeating ones, but something, just a bit of something a bit extra that makes you stand out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That'd be cool.
Yeah, maybe that's why I was like a big. I mean, RuneScape doesn't really have that, but the reason I enjoyed RuneScape is just because if that grinding felt somewhat natural.
What does RuneScape have then?
I mean, RuneScape doesn't really have, like, it has loads of armor, all with different stats and everything, but the way it works on RuneScape in terms of grinding, you have to level up your stats, your attack, your fishing, whatever. But the reason I kind of enjoyed it is because that grinding felt natural, because it was part of the game, and it's just like it's a real life digital living world. So what we do is basically it's for you, and it was a bit more unique, I guess, and it just let you stand out from others. You could dress wherever you feel like and everything, because it was a real life world basically. I mean, it was part of the game to grind, and that grind felt more natural because it was part of the game, unlike your typical first person shooter you play not because you enjoy the game, but because you want to unlock something.
There you have it, EA. If you want us to promote your next if you want us to promote FIFA 21 on this channel, then all you have to do is give Tom his custom Ultimate Team card with 99 overall stats.
Yes, please. Like, or send me that real life card to my address. Please do. Just like a
Yeah,
small
and
card.
we'll promote it happily.
Yeah,
We will happily
send me a
promote it.
small card, just like of my reward in like some. I don't know. Why would that maybe? It's just something, just to showcase to you, like, and flex. Just to flex on people. All right, we've been talking for 50 minutes. Anyone wants to discuss something? Any last remaining topics? Anything that is on your mind? Everything? I don't know. Whatever is on your mind.
I think
No,
Ray had a shout out, didn't he?
Yeah,
yes.
actually, I would like to take this moment and give him a shout out to Melissa Medina and a couple other voice actors in a creative work server that she started up. It's a place for creative-minded people, writers, content creators, and such, in order to all get together and pretty much talk work, talk shop, bat forth, job postings, etc., etc. She's also done. She's doing more contests. We did one last week for a villain contest, which I entered in. I did not win. However, the three people that did were Stephen Carlock, Skirlington, sorry if I butchered that, Shania Waring. I also want to give a shout out to Ellie Diaz for inviting me in the first place, and J. Thomas Gordy, who's also been an awesome person in order to talk to. Links in the description for the audio for all four, my take, as well as the three that won. I'm looking forward to more of these contests. I actually enjoy interacting with these people, even though at first I felt way out of my league. I'll be completely honest, just even interacting with these people. But now I feel a lot more at home, and I'm very grateful for everybody in that server for at least letting me hang out and take part.
Ooh, shout out, respect. Can I do a shout out?
If it's about my mom, no.
Oh.
Man knew it.
If it's about my mom, hell no. You're not getting that. No.
Boo.
No, fuck you. No.
I was
from
fully
nice
about to
and
be.
professional to cringeworthy in 2 seconds. Only on this podcast, folks.
I was fully about to go like, well, I'd like to shout out Tom's mum for being such a great date partner. Oh,
Without her, this literally would not exist.
Gian, give a shout out to someone. We have to do it now.
I mean to everyone in China. You know what's going on. Then just put the glove on, put the mask on, use some hand gel, and keep safe. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of hand gel,
use some hand gel.
speaking of hand gel, Gian forgot to ask you if you can give him free hand gel from your hospital work.
Yeah.
What, me?
Yes.
Yes, you.
Why do you need free hand gel, bro?
Free healthcare. That's how it works, right?
I mean, you know what's going on, right? You know. with
Just
the
buy it
Chinese
from
and-
like Boots. It's like less than £1.
But it's not free.
Less than £1.
Yeah, but the hand gels are like in dispensers that are like placed on the wall, and there's sachets that go inside those dispensers. So I can't exactly just rock up to your house with like a box of sachets. I don't even know where you get them from. It's the hostess people that kind of fill that up. So I'm sorry, but no can do.
Disappointing.
It's fine. It's fine.
You cheap Asian man.
I'm just. Although we were thinking making a joke that Gian just coughs and then remembered that he's Chinese.
Oh, don't worry about my coffins. It's fine. I'm alive.
He's alive.
I hope we're not talking to a zombie yet.
No, not yet. Soon.
I've seen this movie before.
Man's too fat to die anyway.
How does that make sense?
I don't know. The fat protects him from the virus.
Unlimited power.
The virus can't penetrate his skin because of the fat that goes.
Oh my god.
Do it.
Do it.
I just imagine Fat Emperor Power. instead of
Alright.
power, he's like unlimited flabber.
As his fingers jiggle.
Unlimited blubber.
Yes.
Instead of lightning, he just throws a bottle of oil.
Oil. It's just
Man,
No
he makes
ketchup just
giant
sprays
rains
out of his
oil.
fingertips.
and sweat, just like body oil and sweat just shoots out.
Oh my god.
Oh, this turned weird very quickly.
This got off the rails fast. Like the train is off the tracks and down the mountainside.
only on the Lanky Soldier podcast, right
Oh
here.
yeah.
Only.
This is not the Lanky this is not the Lanky Soldier podcast. This is a live gaming podcast.
Sorry, live gaming podcast. It's on the
Wow,
Lanky Soldier
Exclusive.
channel.
Yeah.
It's exclusive to the Lanky Soldier because I paid the rights for it. No, I didn't. This is my creation, sadly.
He wrote something out in crayon that said, "I own the rights," and stuck it on his fridge.
Yep.
Yes, but he got it laminated too, just in
Oh
case.
yes, has
Yeah,
to.
that's my physical reward for grinding. That's my physical reward. Suck it, nerds. Okay, I think we're done then. Right?
Yes.
All right,
sir.
so
Yes.
we're gonna end that. So thank you, Adrian.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
And thank
Thank
you,
you.
Jen,
Thank you, Jen.
Of course.
for joining this podcast and talk about random stuff and grinding stuff and grinding about video games or something. I don't know. I don't know. That's a horrible outro, but I don't care. So
Don't forget to like.
We've gone
follow,
from cringy
subscribe.
intros to cringy outros.
now it's gonna be the cringy outros. Now it's gonna be a
Follow
thing now.
Tom's mum on Twitter @Tomaszki
Inside jokes. I love it. Anyway. Thank you so much for our listeners, whether you're watching on this on YouTube or listening to the audio version of the podcast. Thank you for sticking with us with our ramblings, whatever we're talking about. Thank you so much that you're dealing with us. And leave a comment or like or dislike. Tell us what you think about the podcast, all the negative or the positive stuff. Let us know. Be involved. And yeah, we have all our social media is down in the description, all the links to your Twitters, your Instagrams, and emails, and everything you need. It's down there, so you can always follow us any way you feel like it. And if you're new to this, new listener, and you're still listening to us, my God, you're a trooper. Please subscribe and like. We need that.
And of course, have
we need-
yourself a merry, 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 holly jolly freaking day.
Yeah, we need that ad revenue. Just say, please subscribe. Anyway, and yeah, thank you guys for listening, and that's it. So, bye.
Peace out.
Bye.
Your hands upon a dead man's gun and you're looking down the sights. Your heart is worn and the seams are torn and they've given you a reason to fight.